Good evening, bandits. Oh, I need a haircut. How are you guys doing tonight? Hope everyone is well. Sorry, just setting some stuff up. Hope you guys are doing good. Drawing a few boxes right here. I spending some time with the wife and I didn't do a show last night. So I want to do one tonight, and then I'll be doing one tomorrow with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. CT. I need to talk to Geronimo and see if he wants to come back on soon. I'd like to talk to him about a couple of things, I think, too. But all that being said, today, pretty good day. Hope you guys had a solid day as well. I want to talk about some different types of trades, and this is a topic that's going to be covered in my master video that I'm putting together. And when I say master video, what it's actually going to be is if you're showing something to a brand new person who has never traded or is just getting into it, and you're sitting down with them and you're like, well, what do you do? How do you trade? Here, watch this, and then let's have a conversation. I'm trying to put that together because I feel like it would be an easy way of answering that question. And one of the things that I have in there is, and the topics I'm trying to think out, and I'm going to be verbally kind of thinking it out on this show with you guys, and would be glad to take advice on your thoughts on it, are the different trade types. And I'm going to get into what I mean by that. So without further ado, cheers to you, bandits. Hope you had a great day, great week. What up, Anya? Let's kick this. Little Blanton's for the throat. So it seemed like a really good day today, but also a difficult day in some aspects. For some people, I understand, things can be hard, things can definitely be difficult, even when there are some solid moves. And I'm not sure if my analytics might be a little messed up right now. There's some stuff in my video is slightly messed up. Nope, says it's live. So the main thing that I'm thinking through and that I want to talk about, or why I take some trades and why I didn't take some other trades, why I called some out and why I didn't call, and why I didn't take some. And I think we could probably use Tesla, or which one was it? Meta, possibly Meta from the other day. Yes, let's use Meta. Now, this is the first style, if you were, of trade. This style of trade is a momentum trade. Now, it can have a larger target, and I'm not necessarily going to refer to the target, but more what the buy trigger is. What's the buy trigger for a momentum, early morning momentum trade? Well, in this case, you have a name like Meta that is compressed, well, semi-compressed at the bottom of it, but it's on the 21 at the open, and I think CT took this one, and it's going outside of your Fab 4 box, as it's called, the last 45 minutes. We've talked about this box before, and you're exploding to the downside. You could have a strategy and a style of trade that, sorry, give me 1 second, that says you're going to buy it when this aggressive setup takes place and starts hitting. What is that setup? That setup is this momentum through the level. It's, hey, if I see this exploding through this level, I'm going to take it. There's nothing wrong with that. That is just a way of doing it. You're looking for momentum in a name early that is going through some type of daily, hourly level or a box or something else. And as it's taking that out, you're going to play the momentum in that name to take you to a target, whatever that target is. That target could be the pivot point. It could just be, hey, I'm going to sell some into here, and then I'm going to get out at, depending on what it does, I'll get whipped around some. I'm going to get out at pivot. I'm going to sell half. I'm just going to take the initial explosion. As soon as the name slows down, I'm going to get out of it. It doesn't really matter. The point is not the target. If you're doing something, like Kelly does, you draw this like that, and you could say, hey, if it takes out the Fab 4 bottom, I'm going to buy it through that low. I'm going to sell some here, and then I'm going to sell the rest down here if it hits. You could do something like that. There are many different ways to create the target. The purpose of this video isn't that, but just, okay, so there's that type of trade. There's the momentum trade. And this goes into the daily, the hourly, and it goes between different names. There's another trade here, and it would be this one. You could say, hey, look, I like meta to the downside. I like what it's doing here. I'm not going to chase. I didn't want to enter this. I want to enter on the pullback. So I'm going to wait on a candle to go. I'm going to wait on that candle to pop up, and then I'm going to buy it as it begins to tick down or as it triggers, whatever your buy point is. But I'm going to wait for a digestive bar, and then I'm going to scalp it to a target. So you can say, I'm going to take it here when it hits VWAP, so it's going down, a lot of downward momentum. I'm going to wait for the pop. All right, it hammered out and opened up into this next red candle. Obviously, this candle wasn't anything. I'm going to take the entry right here with my stop right here. It tagged VWAP and went down. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to sell at whatever your target is. Take some off as it punches through day lows. That is, while still a momentum play, that is more your Mark 1, your know your limit 8, instead of assuming that you're diving into the violence, you say, I don't want to dive into the violence. What I'm looking for is not to catch every move in the violent moves. It's to, instead of catching this and then maybe having this happen to me, because who knows what it's going to do. It's just wild. You know what? I'm not going to trade any of this. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to leave all this alone in this area, and I'm going to wait for a pattern to develop 30 minutes into the day. So you're 30 minutes into the day here, and you see that we went down, we went up, we put in a lower pivot high, so we didn't break out through day highs, went right back out of that Fab 4 box, pulled down, came up to the 21. Let's say you don't even trade this and you come back and you're coming up here. What do you have? You have a lower pivot, you're going down, you broke through day lows, you came back up into the 21. You have a pretty easy short. So this is, and look, there's your target, so there's your 100%. You buy, sell, or you could say S1. You develop this, and it's based more on a pattern that is setting up over the course of the day. So you wait for the pattern in the market to develop, and you don't care about taking the momentum plays as they're setting up, or guessing and tape reading. What you're doing instead is you're looking at a name and you're determining a pattern that's developing that you want to trade, and you trade that specific strategy. You can say, I missed this. I think this happened to me today in Tesla. Let's jump over to Tesla. I think I called this one out. Yeah, because I left this on. I said I would talk about this tonight, and I'm like partially being sarcastic, but so, okay, let's delete this line. So let's say that you traded Tesla today. A lot of us traded Tesla. I traded Tesla. CT caught this. So here's one that's, how to say it? So this is technically a 21 break here. Candle is the first candle that tested the 21. This is a 2-minute green tick shred off of a 21. There's your buy point, and obviously this is what happened. So legit setup. However, and you also hit the 200 here, you're compressed, you should make a move higher. For sure. And this is an elephant bar. So, but when you're looking at this, you could look at it, and when it's in this chop zone, you could use deductive reasoning to, this is maybe the third type of trade. I'd say this is the third type of trade, and this is the feel. This trade is the feel trade. what you're doing is you're looking at something and you're using deductive reasoning. So you're looking at what the market is doing. You're looking at where we're at. So, you know, in the sense of Tesla here, you could say the market is going up. It was, I think, rallying at this point, maybe. Yeah, market is, you know, it's not tanking, at least. Tesla's strong. It's been strong. It's your relative strength leader. So we have a relative strength leader. We're compressed. We're above our two main moving averages, the 21 and the 200. We hit them and we bounced. We came up through day highs. You know, who knows if you got this or not. Maybe you did. Maybe you got shaken out. Maybe you lost some on it. You come back in, and let's say you're on these middle candles, and you're wondering, well, should I play it? And then you see this candle hammer into the 21 and the 200, instantly put in this hammer higher. So you have a higher pivot low on the day. We didn't break down and hold this as a thick red selling off bar punching through. We tagged and we went higher, and this is what CT saw. He might explain it a little bit different. And we have a little bit of, you know, these bottoming tails. We put in one little digestive candle into the 21, and this is your, to me, this is a possible buy point. This isn't necessarily any type of strategy that I could look at another chart and be like, oh yeah, like even if you took all this out, I could be like, oh yeah, well, you had all this happening. You know, you're around here. We hammered into the 200 and the 21. I'm going to watch this next candle. I'm going to see how it opens and closes. It's closing down here at the next. The other one opens up. As this candle opens up, I might just be like, you know what? I'm going to buy it. And I'm going to give it to the 200. I think this is a good risk reward. I can see what it's doing. It's going a little bit higher. It's trending higher. The market's trending higher. Tesla's been the strong name. We're on the 200 and the 21. You know what? I'm going to enter here with this risk reward. This isn't a definable, like, necessarily. Mark 1, know your limit 8. Yeah, that red bar, I think, threw me off too, Anya. I think this bar definitely kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop. I don't think I got in this trade a little bit later. I'm talking about it because CT called it out and took it, and he caught like all of this. Something in my house. But what you're looking at is you have this, and then even if you took a loss here, maybe you get back in it if you're in that kind of, if you're in that trade mindset of I'm looking for a trade, looking for a trade. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And you're using deductive reasoning to pick a trade and a location. So you have your momentum, which would be, you know, Tesla maybe right here as it was punching through this level, and you can see it at the top and it hit the 8, and you're just buying that strength. Or you see something like that, or this momentum, and you just see this going up, and you're just playing that momentum, and you jump into the momentum, and you see what's happening, and you dive into the violence, and you take a trade. And you can have a strategy that says you're going to buy it as it breaks out. So you buy it here. You know, maybe you make, it's too early in the day. We probably don't trade this, but maybe you buy this and you make a little bit, and then it comes back and it punches out, and you take a few losses here, or break even stops because it doesn't run higher. And then, you know, it comes back in. Hopefully you don't get shaken out there. And you're like, you know what, I'm going to try it again. It's on the 21. And you can use that kind of deductive reasoning to determine to take a trade. Or what you can do is you can say, I don't care about any of this. I understand that I could trade like this and take 6 losses or take, you know, 6 wins and 4 losses here, or bat 50-50. And if it does this, I'm going to have a super good day. And if it just chops around here, I'm going to be down 2 or 3 grand, and I'm going to have to wait for something like this to set up. Or what you could do is you could say, I'm just going to let all this develop. And when I see something like this, which is a clear string sign, I'm going to wait for digestion. And I'm going to buy on the next moving average. And I'm either going to have a small target or a large target. I'd say R1, like the 127, but then R1. And I'm going to wait. It's going to come into that 2-minute 8. green takes red. I might sell some here just to finance it. So I sell some here. I don't get chopped out here, and I hold the target. Or your target could just be highs here. It could be whatever you want to. Target's not important for the sake of this conversation. What is important is the type of trade you're taking. So yesterday when I think it was No FOMO asked me, possibly XO, I think it was No FOMO. Yeah, it was like, why didn't you take that trade? I've been trying to work through and decipher the types of trades I take, not only for journaling, and to put names on them and trading styles to them, but for the sake of the video that I'm working on. So it will be, I'll look at it and it'll be like, you know what? If I'm teaching somebody, they need to understand what I'm doing and what type of trades they should take that are highest percentage winners and losers. Because taking these deductive reasoning trades, for what I would call them, are very more so risky and don't necessarily have as defined a entry as other strategies like a Mark 1 and Know Your Limit 8, a green takes red off of a moving average, anything like that. They don't necessarily have like this type of stuff isn't like I could explain it me sitting here talking to you. I cannot explain it to somebody who doesn't know what they're doing and I'm just talking through it. It's like it doesn't necessarily make sense until you've done this for a while. But what I can do is like, hey, this is now a bull trend. Wait for digestion into a moving average or a 2-minute like breakout or something. Pick your strategy. Wait for the digestion into the moving average. When you see a candle looks like it's going to go, or it goes, if you actually want to buy the trigger, take it, and then have correct stop, have a correct target for take profit, and then final target and a stop out. Do that, and that's something that's trainable. Oh, what up, Hassan? Oh, it's actually evening here, but good morning, good afternoon. Hope I said your name right. Welcome to the show. Are you new just to my channel or new to trading? So that is another type of trade. And for those of you who are here, hey, what up, Ralph? For those of you who are here, you can leave a like on the video, share, subscribe, hit the notification so you know when I go live, all that kind of stuff if that's something that you want to do. It does help the channel. I appreciate it if you do that. If you don't want to, that's fine. Another one you can look at, and I actually called this one out, was this. So it's gone up. You think the market is reversing. The market did reverse. We're below the 21. What am I doing? We have a clear down move, a clear leg down, back up into the, this looks like the 50% retracement. I actually took it over here. Actually was a short, so I actually looked at this one. This was the one I did, and then I sold like 80% of my position here at the 127. So here's a trade you could look at. We're below the 21 on the 200. We're down. We didn't hold the 21 on the 200. We came below it. We hit the 21, and you know what? I think it's going to make a down move to the 127 target. I took this short somewhere in here on the 21 and sold like 80% of my position here for a final target of down here. You could also, after the fact, when it did this, you could, expand this, I guess, if you wanted to. And you could define your trade like this. You could say, hey, look, I see a more clear leg down. We popped up. We had one wick here. You might have got stopped out here, but this happens. We're coming down. It's like, you know what? This hammer and this hammer, I think Tesla's going down. I'm going to buy off of a red takes green, and I have a target, and a target. And honestly, the 2-minute 200 would probably be your target. But once it's clear you're not going to hold that 21, you could use multiple ways of determining to get in there. But there is a definable trade here. So something I've been doing is I've been saying, where have my losses been coming from midday? What I have noticed, my midday and late morning losses come from deductive trading. So not from this very effective during the middle of the day. When I see this, when I see a Know Your Limit 8, when I see like these moving averages holding and not, once we get into a trend, something like this actually even too. Later in the day when you see we sold off, we hit the level, we bounced up, higher pivot low, we come in back to the 200, we bounce back up. Like once I see this and we're above the 200 here, I would be doing this, because if I'm zoomed out on the day and I see the day telling me a story of what's happening, higher pivot low, came back, came in, we actually put in a higher pivot low on the day, higher pivot low, came in, pulled into the 200, we rallied off the 200, we're kind of digesting here, failed to break higher, we're back into the 21. If I'm paying attention and I see this, look what lines hit, guys. There's your buy out the 21 on the break. There is your 127, and there's your 161. Look at that. I wasn't even here to take this trade. You saw me draw the numbers. Hit there, hit there. There's your targets. These intraday trades that are not that are deductive, but deductive based on a defined strategy, have an extraordinarily high win rate with me during the middle of the day. When I'm calm, when I'm selected, looking on larger time frames, zooming out, identifying these things taking place, I hit on these a lot. When I am sitting here, and so for instance, the reason I didn't take Meta the other day was not because I didn't like it. I actually really did. But I've just been saying, how is my day going to look if I don't take early momentum or deductive trades? And any deductive trade has to be based on, and all trades are deductive, but they have to be based on like a clear, definable C strategy-esque setup. And so I've been able to put those things in perspective, and why I haven't taken some trades, or like, I don't remember what trade CT was in the other day. I think it was a Meta again, and it was a long or a short, and I'm like, yeah, I'm waiting for it to hit the 21, and it didn't hit yet, and I think he took it on the 8, and it ended up popping, and it stopped out, and then it hit the 21, and then it worked. I'm like, I'm defining the trade in my head for what I want it to look like. I'm waiting for those trades to take up. And yeah, I probably or might miss, let's say, some setups that I didn't take before. Let's say I miss out on 4 or 5 winners that I would have had before. I have found that I will actually miss out on most of my losers too. And we know that this game is mostly about controlling losers, not necessarily about controlling winners. So while right now buying the breaks of these, like for instance tomorrow on Netflix, if we were to open up flat tomorrow, I really like Netflix tomorrow. Look at it. Look at where it's at. Look what it's doing. I don't know what the market's going to do. I'm not saying necessarily on the daily, but just if you look at it, if you look at what it's doing, where we're at, where that box is at, it's fairly compressed. So if we were to accelerate or put in a nice buy setup through the top of this box, which is also the top of this little pivot here, so there's actually some resistance roughly about where the 21 is going to be when we open up. So if we open up above that and go in and hit into it, I like Netflix early tomorrow long. If it sets up, maybe I want to play that momentum, or maybe I want to say, you know what, I don't need to play that momentum, because you know what I'm going to look for? I'm going to look for a strategy that is like, even though Netflix is a name, I would say you should probably only play momentum. It's not as good, generally speaking, to me later in the day or on second moves. But be that as it may, that's a different conversation. I have to determine when is the best time to play momentum and what I'm viewing, and then when is the time to be like, I have these defined criteria that I'm waiting for. I think sometimes you have to bend and you have to change and you have to be adaptable, but I am looking for certain things. So some trades I'm not taking, not because I don't like it. On a scale of 1 to 10, it might be a 7 or a 6, but I have something I'm waiting for. And I know that if I train my mind and I train myself to wait for the setup I want to trade, I'll be okay and I'm going to be good. If I force myself to do that, I can kick the bad habit of forcing trades, of over trading, of taking a bunch of losses. Oh, well, this could go now. It'd be like, oh, this could happen now, and this could happen now, and this could happen now. It's like, nah, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait for the setup I want to take that meet the criteria. And I'm going to do that because if I do that and I have those winners throughout the day, those winners and the amount that I win there is going to be so much more than the ones that I lose on. And if I'm teaching somebody to trade and I'm trying to show them what they want to do, I want to be able to have a definable, repeatable strategy that I say, hey, this is what you need to look for every day, and you need to look for it in this name. So let's sit here and let's wait every day in Tesla, and let's have a 2-minute time frame, maybe a 1-minute time frame in Tesla, and wait for the 21 to test on the 1-minute 21 and the 2-minute 8 are pretty close together a lot. But let's say you're looking on a 2-minute time frame. You know what you're going to wait for? You're going to wait for a trend in one of the two directions, and your first trade is going to be when after that trend sets in, the 8 hits or something like that. Let's wait for that. Let's see the level 2 give you reason. This bar closes, the next bar opens. You know what? Let's take a long with a stop down here, nice 20-cent, stop or something, and let's give it room to break out. And I could teach somebody that and be like, let's look for this pattern. It's definable. If I'm just like, well, what's the difference in this chopping around the 200 and this chopping around the 200, and why didn't this do this, and why did, it can be too much. And so in order to teach, I want to simplify. And in order to show people, I want to simplify. And I want, even for myself, if it's just like, if I'm having a hard day, I know a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and even now, a lot of people are having a really hard time. Well, I'd like to be able to sit back and be like, hey, if I'm talking to you and I'm trying to help you, what are you trading? All right, let's just look for this. Let's look for a pattern setting up and then coming into a moving average with the buy setup off that moving average to a defined target with at least 1, 2, 3, take profits along the way. 50%, so you're not going to lose on the trade no matter what. And then, your next target, you 127. So that's what I've been doing. That's why I've been trading a certain way. I think those are the 3. There may be more. I'm going to think through it a little bit more before I finish some of the stuff for the video. But those are the main different types of stuff that I've been looking for. And there was some today. Like Anya, if you're still here, you called out some. And I think Geronimo liked it, and you liked Airbnb. And not a name I normally trade. But Gab down, look at this. Super strong, super strong. Just this is just straight crazy strong. And if you were to draw a box on this from the previous day, it'd be somewhere like this, and you're breaking out, and you open up down here, you're just boom, filling that gap right away, punching right through it. So even if you didn't take this, you have 3 big bars, you pull in on one red bar, your next bar opens up right at yesterday's close. These 2 candles, this starts ticking up. You better buy the second breakout here. And look at that. This is an absolutely beautiful trade. I know Anya called it and had it. I think she had an Amazon trade too today. So, you have a clearly definable target. You have everything right here, like target, target, target. All that is set up perfectly. You can easily define what this trade is. It's not just momentum, crazy strong momentum. Pulls into the 8 pulls into the 8 at multiple areas of support, 8 VWAP, yesterday's close, pulls tweezer bottom right off of it, and you have a 2-minute buy setup. Multiple, using definable strategy, clear pattern, and deductive reasoning, you can see these things and put them together. And that's what I'm trying to do, and trying to make sure that the trades I take are ones that if I were to explain, I would take them again. And not just ones like, I think I could do this because I'm watching level 2. It's like, I think I could do this. And well, if this is this and this is this, I'm going to do this. Instead, something that's a definable, tradable pattern that I like to trade. Look at this Airbnb trade here. Look at this reversal. So your reverse, your leg down, you're back up into the 21 at VWAP, your hammer right through the 50%, you're failed to get above VWAP, there's your sell setup. You could have took it here, but let's say you took it here. On this candle breakdown, there is your 100% first target, and there's your 127. And then it probably does the same thing again if you were to do this. I don't know what that other thing is there. There must have been another line. I don't know what that is. No, pull back up, fib, below. This was a little bit harder here. But once you take out this on this bar and you're below the 21, to me, you could try that short into the 200 would actually be the target. I wouldn't necessarily have these lower targets here. But yeah, so types of trades, definable things. You have to determine in the morning when you get up what you're going to do, and then you need to obey that. So if you say, hey, I'm trading really well, my deductive reasoning is really good, I'm really hitting these momentum plays really well like CT's been doing, and he's been making his money on these box breaks and stuff. If you're doing that, like if you're doing that and you're hitting it, then you do that. But if you're like, I don't trade this very well, I'm going to wait for these patterns to set up, and I'm going to play things that are based on patterns and strengths and names that I know how they move and I like how they move. And for me, generally, that's Tesla. That's why I still trade it. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that. My thoughts on the different trade types, why I do take some and don't take some. Just trying to make sure I can define it. That it's the trade I'm waiting for the target I'm waiting for the move I'm waiting for. And if I do jump in something momentum or stuff, because I do other scalping and stuff, it's a lot smaller size. It's not conviction. It's not necessarily something I would call out, because it's not necessarily something I'm kind of cool with losing and stuff. Like I want to look at trades that I can define in this way, as opposed to just always like instant momentum. I find I make more money and keep more of my daily winnings when I have these thoughts and these more defined trade strategies written out, as it were. And like I'm going to try to take trades today that set up within a pattern that I recognize and I like to trade. Or I'm going to trade momentum, or I'm going to trade all of it. So that's my thoughts. Shorter video tonight. Wanted to get it done. We're going to talk about this. I'll have CT on tomorrow. We're going to talk about, I think we'll probably be on around 8:30 or so, maybe earlier or later. Not sure. So I'll announce, I'll post the video time that we're going to start, and then I'll also put it in the Discord and all that kind of stuff. So he'll be on tomorrow. We'll chat, we'll talk some, we'll have some fun, review the week, review the month, and some other things. So, and get his kind of thoughts and opinion on the market. But with all that being said, guys, I really appreciate you hanging out tonight, watching the video. If you're watching it after the fact, don't forget you can always leave a like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I appreciate you guys being here, taking the time to watch this. I think it's important that you do define your trades in some manner. I think it will help you actually define your wins and your losses and help you be able to control one of the two of those things. And it'll help you find what trades you're winning on and the patterns where you're making the most money. Like even patterns where you're making the most money. Like these reversal trades are pretty good, high percentage winners for me. I really like those. And so are the first 8 tests and stuff on the Tesla 2-minute, things like that. Really effective for me. Really love doing them. And learning how to put those together when you can define the stuff, as opposed to just like, I kind of like this. Yeah, I kind of like this. But in the moment, you don't really, like, it's like kind of just all in your head and you're putting it together. If you can step back and really see the picture developing, it'll even give you confidence to hold things longer. So those are some of the things I've been noticing about myself, and some of the things that I've been actively trying to better myself in as I'm growing as a trader, and why I've taken some trades and not taken other trades, which a few people have sent me some stuff and asked about. So thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate you all. Love you, and I'll see you tomorrow morning in the Discord room, link below, and the NewsBeat live room. Also, the link below, if you click on that, it does help the channel and all that fun stuff. See you guys in the morning.